Hey guys, okay, video number 2 for our journal kit. For those of you that were able to get them, let's continue on. I'll link to the first video and then also the video where I showed these before they went up into the shop, so that those of you just coming into this video kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about here. So let's keep going. You know, we're still going to continue through. We've added in a lot of our pockets, put things in their place of what we're looking for. We did our center, and for this one I did some drop down charms that look like little tiny tags at the base. And again, I'm not quite sure. Now, one of the things I forgot to do in the previous video that I said, I'm going to put this in because this is awesome to have hanging off your page. So let's start right there. Again, we are still placing our pieces, but today we're actually going to get into some collaging. Because again, I had said in the previous video that Tracy Fox is doing this grungy journal, and oh my God, I'm loving it. I do like the deep grunge, the dark. I do love my vintage style, and that's what I call my journals, vintage style. Because it's difficult for me to get vintage pieces, and to do an entire book that way. It would take me forever to get that collection, especially in my area. So I like to make it. We have a stash, you know, and we can make those vintage style items. So that's what I like to call my journals. They're vintage style. How many times can I do this? Okay. So she's doing this grunge, and oh my God, I'm loving it. Oh my God. She is inspiring me to do one of these ever so much. But she showed, and I think it's a great concept. You know, when we put our journals together, we focus on the fact, I've got to have a tuck. I've got to have a pocket. I've got to have something that something's going to go into if I'm putting it on the page. And she has been showing that you could just create this cluster and literally adhere it, and it just decorates the page. And to me, I think that is awesome. And the reason why I truly enjoy that. Now, again, if you like pockets and tucks and everything else, oh my goodness, I so encourage you to do that. By all means, do you. That's the beauty of this. You can do what you like to do. Try it. And if you don't like it, continue doing what you like to do. But I love these journals to write. To me, I call these diaries on steroids. So I like a lot of writing space. When it comes to the pages, and then also, you know, being able to pull this out and to write on this. I haven't backed this yet, to do that. So we're going to do a lot of those to decorate the pages. And again, you'll see in the first video, that's what I showed you, all different clusters that were going on. And I really, really liked it. This is one of them. So I do apologize. I did not put this in the first video, like I said I was going to do. Duh. All right, so I'm going to close this up, and I want to I'm looking at the side and saying, okay, where is this going to sit? Because I kind of want this centered, because again, something's going to hang off this, something's going to hang off this. I'm going to have some fabric pieces coming in here next. So I want to go here. So I want to see if anything's here. Nope. So I'm going to take this, and I want to make sure that it's hanging out. Now, he's really going to hang out, and I'm okay with that. I truly am. I like it. So I'm going to grab, now if you see pieces like this, that's because they were stuck onto the thing that came from the dollar store. So I'm just going to go straight up, and now I'm going to come down. I'm going to add lots of glue, especially around that piece. And now I'm going to flip this over, come in from the side, and then just make sure that that's sticking out. But I do want that towards the top. And I'm really going to hold this down. And we're going to collage on this one. All right. So now, flip. And that's coming right off of our center. So that's kind of cool. Now, I'm going to take this and I'm just going to tear that off. And with all that glue, I should be able to do that. Just tear it right out from underneath. There we go. Okay. I had put those pieces of paper or Post-it on the back of these if they were stuck on paper so that they didn't stick to everything else. So, all right. So we have that. That's in there. Now, I want to collage around this. I mean, these are cute, but I didn't want to see those when it came into that. So in comes, here's our book page, a sheet of music, and then we have a piece of coffee dyed paper. So I'm going to save the coffee dyed paper for a second. And I want to use a piece of the book page. I'm just going to come down. Yep, everything's going to be hand ripped. Why not? And then I'm going to come in about here. So I like that. So I'm going to place that there. I'm going to grab one of these. So these are those frosted circles. What I love to do, and I have, there's a video that's coming out, so you'll see these in full detail. So for right now, for the kit, I just want to take some of my ink and I'm just going to go over that to just get some color onto it. So I'm changing that color. I'm just doing the one, and I want that, and then I want a piece. Nope. I'm going to get a piece of my book page. Yes. So I'm going to come down, and then I'll come up. And then I'm just going to tear this little bit off because I'm loving this. I think that looks awesome. So I think I'm actually going to take, it's upside down. All right, so we're going to go back to that. And then I'm going to have this piece come across like this. So again, just a cute little tiny collage. Of course, we've got to ink these up. Must ink those up. And you can see I didn't ink around that. And again, that's okay. All right, so let's add our glue. Set that in place. And then we're going to take this. And I definitely want to ink that up. In fact, I'm going to go back and forth like that just to distress that just a little bit, meaning ruffle it up. Because who doesn't like things ruffled up? I am not particular with my glues, meaning I don't worry if I captured everything. Because again, it gets ruffled, it has some fun. Okay, so that, and again, that's the collage. It's down. We can journal around it. We can put a little tiny quote here if we wanted to and just have some fun. I'm going to take this, and since these are frosted, if I take this and put that right there, you can see through it. And I just think that looks really cool. It's different. It's different. I mean, I don't know if you can see that. Again, I'm different. But I like that. I like the fact that you can see through it. I think it just gives a different effect to that. So the next thing that I want to show is I want to show the, I want to take one of my packages here and I want to show you how I did that. All right, so this here. I'm actually going to tear this top off. You don't have to. Again, I can't stress enough, you do not have to do the things that I'm doing. And I'm going to put this one in the back. Since this is a big piece, all right, and it's going to hold taller items, I really want to make sure that it's on one of the cardstocks, either the front or the back, because it's got a better weight. So what I'm going to do is lots of inking going on here. I mean, I really want to ink this up only because it's white. Now, there are white pages. I'm working on one here, but you're going to see what I'm going to do to that as well. I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to flick from the inside around that edge to get that around there. And by doing that, I'm coming into those corners, not totally covering them up, but I'm getting in there. And I only have to worry about the front. Okay, so that's what we've got going on there. Now, let's look at our cardstocks. I know the one that I want. So this one here, I believe this was the same size as the other one. So if I put this in, yeah, it just fits. So I am going to put glue all around this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to trim this because I know I had to trim it before and it was very difficult. Let's try that again. Perfect. All right. So now we're going to put glue. We're really going to focus in on that top edge so that nothing gets caught on it. I'm going to come around each of the edges here because we're going to push this all the way down. Awesome scratching sound. So sorry. All right. Now we're going to pick this up. We're really going to expand this. And we got to be quick because this glue grabs quickly. And I think we've got it. Yay, we got it. So I'm going to push this down. Yep, we got glue coming up, which is okay. All right. Now, I want to make sure, though, that I didn't just seal this up, which I did not. Okay, and there you go. That's all that was, at least to create this. Now I'm going to take this and get this in. So I am going to add glue all the way around this back. Make sure you don't go up too high because there is a dip. Make sure I get that. And I'm going to set this in place. And I'm going to center it a little bit off to the right. That didn't make sense. And I'm going to push down, and I want to grab one of the cards to make sure I did not seal the top. All right. I'm going to push down on the corners, make sure those corners are in there. All right, she is in. Now, once I had this, yes, let's start immediately collaging and having fun with this. So I think I'm going to go like that. Oh, wait a minute. What is this one? Okay. I actually want to come off here. Whenever if I have something on the right side of the page, I want the movement to come this way. I don't know if that makes sense. If I have something over here, I want it to come this way. I don't know why. It's just the way that my mind breaks it down. It's very odd. I know. So I'm going to ink around this. So basically, the weight of the collage is going to be on this side. If that makes sense. So I really like that there. I like the fact that I've got the break going across. I am going to grab not that you need to hear that. I'm going to grab a piece of this bag. I'm just going to cut, because we're going to do something with this bag next, but I just want a piece of it. Yes, I threw that. All right, now I'm going to tear down. And then I want to come across this way. Yeah. We're going to ink this up. So again, look at that packaging. That packaging can be, and that was something that I looked at or took into an account when I just came up with this idea. And let me tell you what, guys, for those of you that I was very honored, because again, I just threw it together. All right, so let's get this first one down. And remember, and as you can, I mean, there's a lot of times where I refer to my journals as journals. But again, you know, mail that we get and other items, packaging and stuff like that, you know, that's kind of where the term junk journal came into it. But again, it's just a term, and it's just a term that we're used to. And I'm going to put this here. You're going to hear that jingling. I wish there was a way I could jam that up. All right, so now I'm going to look at these. I'm going to put these in a cup. I'm going to hold on to that. I'm going to put these in my cup. Yes, I love Jell-O, and I save my Jell-O plastic containers. And I want to grab a button just to add it some color. And I'm doing things a little differently here. Yes. Yeah. So again, adding in the other thing that the vintage photo is going to do, and I'm just going to swirl to the front just to bring that white down just a little bit. That vintage photo kind of pulls everything together. I mean, who would think that this teal, blue, and red would go with that, you know, that neutral shade? But it does. Once you put that vintage photo around, that's what she's actually doing. All right, so we're going to get this here right in the corner. And again, making sure to keep it down so that we can still see that. And again, yes, I used the Barely Art Glue for buttons. And it worked. All right, so there we go. That is that. And I think I am going to put this for right now as a placeholder. So I think that's neat. You know, you put this in and you can see that, and then when you pull it out, you see that. I think that's really cool. But if you have some sequins, seal it up. You know, seal that whole thing up and then glue that in and have sequins in there. Or buttons or glitter. I think that would be cool. Now, if you put glitter in, make sure you got that glued all the way around, because could you imagine that explosion? Oh, and it would happen to me. Just say. So we have that. Now, the next thing that I want to do is this piece. So in my other one, I had taken this and pulled on the strings. Okay, so I'm going to put this down on my mat, and I'm just going to ink around. And if you are hearing that squealing, I am so sorry. I have no idea what that sound is, what's going on outside. Hopefully I'll be able to get rid of it, because it's driving me crazy. I'm just saying. All right, so we've done that. Now I want to grab one of my bells. Okay, that took forever. All right, now these are really small. Okay, wanted to make sure it looked a little wide. These are really small openings, so only one string. I'm sure if you use a needle, you can get both of them through, but I'm just going to get one side through. I think hopefully in this time video, I'm going to let that fall, and then I'm just going to tie a knot at the top carefully, because for some reason I really struggled with this last time. And now I'm going to go the opposite way. Okay. And then what I did was, so now I have this here. Now this can technically, I mean, this could flow all the way around. So I pushed it down to that, and then I grabbed both of them, so you can see what I'm doing here. And I pushed that bell through the loop, and then used my left hand to push down the knot so that everything was down towards the bell. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now looking at, okay, this is the front. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull on these, and it's better if you pull on one at a time, but I always check the tension here because I want these to be the same, if that makes sense. And then I just want to spread these out so that the folds and everything are kind of even. So I just keep pulling and pulling until I know I'm even, and then I pinch that there, and then I spread these around so that it's somewhat even. You know, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Now, I'm going to keep my finger there. I'm going to grab, I do have to grab something that I can poke in here. So, too wide. All right, so let's go with a pen. So I'm going to grab this and just puff this out, keeping my hand there. All right, so see, now I got this little tiny puffy thing. All right. I am then going to take glue, and I'm going to put it down the bottom. So I am going to seal mine up. Now you don't have to seal yours up when you put it into the sleigh. You don't even have to do it this. You don't even have to do that with this. So now I'm just going to push this in here. And I'm going to come back in with my pen and push that down. There we go. Make that roll. And then have that, and then you can see that's going to hang out. And then I want to tuck that up underneath. So I am going to push on it just a little bit. And again, what that's doing, the reason why I puffed it is because it's giving all those wrinkles. So it's adding texture. Again, you don't have to do this. And then what's nice is you still have the ability to use it as a pocket. And then when they pull it out, you still have that decoration. I do want to come in with just some more vintage photo just to make that stand out a little bit more, because it's kind of, it does kind of blend in with the coffee dyed paper. And then I want to pinch this here, and I'm going to pinch this down. So I'm really manipulating that bag. And then you got the bellman. Sorry. So that's how we did that. Let's see, where are we? So we honestly are moving kind of cool when it comes to this, which is awesome. Let's see. What else do we want to do? Let's make the front collage. And you can see this moves very quickly, which is nice. And that's with our doily. I do like that sitting there. It's the first thing that you see. That makes you go, oh, it's cute. So we have that. Now let's look at what we want to add to that. So I'm going to go into those die cut pieces. And I really, really like that. I think that would be really pretty on that. Looks like a snowflake on top of a snowflake. I'm definitely going to add a couple buttons. I think I'm going to add 3 buttons to that. Yes. I'm also going to take this. So these are the 3 pieces that I have left of my charm, because I'm going to lose these if I don't. And I have the funny feeling the video quality here is going to be messed up, so I apologize now. Okay, so I'm going to put those. This is one of those bulb safety pins, and I like to put those 2 together, but I am going to put that back into there. All right, so let's ink this up, and I'm going to, now these are really dainty, so I'm just gonna kind of pounce it with my ink blending tool. And then I'm gonna come into the center. Making sure the edges are done. And then I just want to make sure that this outer part really has some ink on it. Give it some shading, maybe. All right, so we've got that there. We're going to ink around this. And I think I'm going to add a piece of music paper. So let's do that. So I'm going to tear off another piece. I love tearing paper. I'm going to go with this thinner one. And I think I do want to add, so these are the 2 fabric pieces that I had here for this one. I'm going to add a piece. Okay, we're going to go with this one. Excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry. Allergies kicking in high gear. I'm going to snip and tear. And then remove all of those little bits, because they will get in your way. And then I'm going to snip that there and tear that one off as well. So we are going to add that there. We'll add that there, and then we are going to add this over that. So I think that'll be real pretty. So again, I used my Barely Art glue. If it doesn't dry up, there we go. For this, and I am not having any problems with these pieces sticking. I guess it would help if I put glue on the back of my doily to get that in place. So I just go around the circles. And then dots every other way, and then we hit it in the center. Okay, let's try that again. All right, so we're going to put that right there. going to put down our music sheet. And now the focal. We'll put that right in the center. Now we're going to put that off to the side a little bit. Why? Because we can. And then we're going to add those buttons. Nothing too serious, just having fun with them. And we're going to push those down just to get them to stick, which again, didn't have any problems with it. All right. So now what I want to create, I'm going to set this aside just to dry. Let's look at this bag. What can we make with the bag, with all of the big pieces of cardstock scraps and everything else in there? What could we possibly do? Well, we can make an envelope, and we don't need a trimmer. We don't need to measure. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut this right here, and I'm going to attempt to go straight. I'm going to save this. All right, so now we have this. Now, for those of you that need a measurement, this measures about 6 1/4 wide, and I've cut it now to, okay, that's funny, 5 1/2 tall, and it's 5 1/2 on each side. I impressed myself with that. Just saying. All right, so we have this. Cute. I want this side facing me right now because of this lip that's right here. I'm not going to cut that away. I don't want to cut that away. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a smaller pair of scissors. All right. So now I am going to take this and fold this over. And I'm just going to choose a measurement. I'm not being picky. But for those of you that need to know, about 1.5 inches, just over 1.5 inches is how this is wide. All right, so I'm going to open that back up. Now, I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to cut down this edge. And this is how you can make envelopes. Just like. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to cut down that edge. Don't cut your finger. This is bad what I'm doing right now. All right. So now I've got this flap. I've got 2 flaps now. Just going to open it up. If it tears, it tears. That just helps me. All right. Now, this flap here, the one, not the back one, but the one in front of you, I'm going to pull up, and I'm going to come in with my larger scissors, and I'm going to bend this back, and I'm going to cut. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm not going to cut. I'm going to take my nail, and I'm going to make that crease. I'm going to come in, and I'm going to tear it. And I'm just going to tear right along that. I don't want a smooth edge. I don't need a smooth edge. I don't care if it goes down, or if it dips. Let it go, people. Have fun with it. Now I've torn that. I say that. All right. Now I am going to take my scissors, and I'm going to come in on each side on an angle up to that point. I will try to make them even, but I'm not going to worry about it. So that when I fold this over, it comes in just a little bit. I am now going to fold this edge over just a little bit. Take my nail again. Do you have to do this, what I'm showing you? Absolutely not. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to fold it over the other way. Again, hit it with my nail. Or you could use the edge of your scissors. Bring it over, flip it back up, and now I'm going to rip that off. You know what I'm doing here is I am distressing this. I want it distressed. Now you can use the side of your scissors. I am a klutz with that. I am dangerous. And there's been many times where I've cut myself. Because I am. I don't think I'm doing 10 million different things. So yeah, I mean, you can just take your scissors and, you know, down this and all of that. It's always this one that I cut, just like, you know, I'm sitting there pointing it. So don't do what I do. All right. Guys, that's our envelope. That's all we have to do. Now, what you can do also, we can create a notch. So how would I find the center? So for those of you that need the center, just fold it in half lightly. And now I'm just going to take my scissors. I'm going to become a contortionist and cut a half moon. Or if you have a circle punch, you can use that as well. So there you go. Now, why did I create this? Because I need my paper clip to hold something else. You don't have to, but for me, I've got to have that next item. So now we're going to have fun. We're going to ink this up. And we're going to ink it up all over. To get the inside, I'm just going to go along the edges, come in around the circle, stretch it out, rub back and forth, and then we're going to do the other side. So if you get bags, I know a lot of Etsy sellers has these types of bags in different shapes and sizes, and I save them because this is what you can do. You can make an envelope. You can do this out of cardstock. You know, you can have fun with it. So there you go. I'm also going to go over that edge because that edge can be more prominent. You can see that it's sticking out, and then also along this one. Yeah. That is our envelope. All right. Now, you know we're going to collage on this, right? Just saying. Just saying. And I think I want to use this. And I'm going to fussy cut it. So I'm going along these dashed lines. And I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Just leaving a small border. And then I think on this side, I'm going to come in. And then I'm going to come in from the other side. And the same thing over here. Again, not worried about it being even, just having fun. All right, I like that because then we can do that. Now, I'm going to put that down in the corner. So I'm going to round this up. Just so I can take away that edge. And then just mold it into that. All right. Glue. We're going to take that And I am going to put that there. I'm not going to push it down yet. I almost put my glue in my ink. Did you all see that? Oops. Grab some music sheet. And I'm going to tuck that right in behind that. I want to go in further. Now we'll push that down. And I'm going to try, well, now that's not going to work now, is it? All right, so I'm going to tear this edge off. And I'm going to place this, because this is very sticky washi tape. I'm going to put that down there. Again, use what you have. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. All right, so that is our envelope. So let's put this somewhere in our journal. This is nice and dry. And you can see I've got a paper clip up here. So now I'm going to go to the other side of my center. And I'm going to find a spot to paper clip this to. And I know, thank you, I am going to put this here. So I'm going to fold it over the page, and I'm going to clip it towards the bottom. Why? Because my other one is up high. Again, I'm staggering these pullouts. Oh, look at this up. Because this one here, I am going to attach the paper bead. So I do want this one up higher because of the size of the paper bead. I'm going to put that there. Now I'm going to go back to this piece, and I am just going to shift it down. Because in case you want to hang something off of that, you've got this straggle going on. I am going to snip. This will be the last thing that we do for this one. I'm going to snip some fabric and tear it because I love that look. Hate the threads that are all over the place because your fingers are all gluey. And I am going to cut another one, another strip from this. Whoop, wrong ones. You never want to use your paper scissors to cut fabric. So I have detailed scissors, one for my cutter bees for my paper, and I have a pair of very sharp Fiskars for my fabric. If you use your paper scissors to cut fabric, they will dull down. All right, so I'm going to snip this here. Get off the stragglers. Again, I'm going to save this one. Well, depending upon the time, maybe we can get one more thing in. Maybe we could do the back. So you can see I go all over the place when I create my journals. But this was kind of the process also that I used, the order, when I was doing the mass production of all of the other ones. So, all right. So now I'm going to flip this up and I'm going to look and say, okay, you know what? Right here. I need a fold out right here. And I'm going to use the plainer one or the less detailed. I'm going to put a line of glue on each edge. And I am going to set that there. I'm going to push down I'm going to flip this over, and I'm totally off camera, and we'll show you in the second one. And then I'm just going to fold this over, and I'm going to push down to make sure that it would lay flat if I pushed on it. All right. Remember, the glue, we'll put something there because my hands are all inky. All inky. I'm wondering if my rubber eraser. Ooh, yes. That will tear the paper. Woohoo! We're going to put something there. Remember, the glue will come through the fabric. All right, so you just want to make sure you remember that. Now, I know my next one's going to come down. So again, I'm going to the other side of that page, the center, and now I'm going to put it here. So again, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a line of glue there, and I'm going to put a line of glue there. You don't have to get carried away like I do. So what I'm doing is I'm laying this down, putting my page down, and then I'm bringing this over and making sure that if I fold it, it's flat. And then I'll pick it up and then pinch it, because remember, the glue will come through the fabric depending upon how much. I put a lot of glue on the first one. And now we've got our fabric tabs in our journal. Now you can put more, by all means. I'm just going to put the 2. I may add a little bit more depending upon what I've got hanging out. And then what we can do is, with our charm that we made or simply put together, we can come in, go up the center, and then I like to come out, attach it, and then I like to pull down. And there you go. We've got that charm sitting in place. So you can see our sides are getting nice and full. We've got all kinds of beautiful charms. Now I may move this one because I may put this into that if I decide to punch a hole. But you can see we've got all these beautiful dangles coming out, and that's really clustered right there. So yeah, I may move that somewhere else or put it into the lace because we haven't done our lace yet. Okay, where are we at? Okay, I think I am going to stop there. All right. So in the next video, and hopefully I remember when I say this, is we're going to do the back. Look at what we're going to do with that, and we are going to do collages on some of the pages. Just put some collages together on each of them, and then put, hopefully, if we have time, we'll put the lace trims on. Now that may be in the last one. All right. So guys, hope you're enjoying this. I hope I'm giving you some ideas. I always hope I'm giving you some ideas and some tips and some tricks that you can incorporate into any paper craft that you do. It doesn't have to be a journal. It can be card making. Why can't we do these principles in card making? You know, keep that in mind. So many things that you can move into other areas. All right. If you have any questions, please make sure you leave those down below. I will link to, I've started a playlist for this, so I'll link to the playlist down below as well if you wanted to check out from the beginning. So the start when I showed the kits and what my idea was, and then video 1, and of course now this one. Keep smiling, keep laughing, enjoy, and most of all, continue to stay safe as we continue through our journey. I'd love to have you here as part of my group. So if you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe. Hit that thumbs up. That'll tell me that you do like this video. Or maybe you don't, you know. But again, everything's not for everybody. So if you don't like it, that's okay. I'm good with that. Just don't be mean. No one needs to be mean. No naysayers, please. But again, enjoy. Don't stress. No 2 pieces of art are the same. And that's the beauty of it, because we all create art. And we need to remember that and keep telling ourselves that. So I'll be doing that for you. I will always keep telling you that. All right, guys, remember what is most important for me, because you really don't know it, but you do it every day anyway. Always be creative. Until next one, take care.